Good evening, friends. It's often said that the world is loud, brimming with activity, full of people endlessly talking, moving, and seeking. But let us take a moment to turn our gaze inward to the sacred art of being alone. To be alone is not a curse, nor is it a flaw in our existence. It is a profound opportunity to meet yourself, to sit with your thoughts, and to feel the rhythm of life without interruption. When you are alone, the masks you wear for others are gently set aside. The world no longer demands your attention, and in this rare quiet, you can see yourself clearly. Alone does not mean lonely. To be alone is to be in the company of the most constant companion you will ever have, yourself. We often fear aloneness because it mirrors our inner uncertainties. We fill our lives with noise, believing that only in the company of others do we find value. But, my dear friends, peace is not found in the applause of the crowd or the words of a friend. It is found in the stillness of your own heart. Imagine sitting beside a quiet stream. The water flows effortlessly, undisturbed by any need to impress. The trees sway in a timeless rhythm, content with simply being. In such solitude, you are reminded that the essence of life is not in striving or proving, but in simply being. And this is forever. We end our lives in aloneness. You do not escape the world. You embrace it in its most intimate form. You become a witness to the dance of your thoughts and feelings, learning to neither chase nor resist them. You begin to realize that peace does not come from adding something to your life, but from removing what was never truly yours to carry. So I urge you not to avoid being alone, but to welcome it as a teacher. Let it guide you to a place where you no longer fear yourself, where you understand that solitude is not a barren desert, but a lush forest of discovery. Alone offers a rare and sacred opportunity, one that is often overshadowed by the fear of solitude or the relentless pull of social expectations. In the quiet spaces where no one else's voice fills the air, where the demands of others are absent, you are left with the gentle hum of your own existence. It is in these moments that you can truly meet yourself, free from the roles and identities you wear in the presence of others. Consider how seldom we allow ourselves to simply be. We are so often caught in the whirlwind of doing, achieving, and performing for an audience, whether real or imagined. Yet when you are alone, the stage disappears. There is no one to impress, no script to follow, and no applause to chase. Instead, there is only you, standing quietly in the vastness of your own being. In this space, aloneness is not a void, but a canvas open and waiting for you to explore the depths of your thoughts, emotions, and dreams. It is an invitation to listen to the subtle whispers of your intuition, the questions you've ignored, and the answers that surface when you finally give them room to breathe. When you embrace aloneness as an opportunity, you allow yourself to rediscover the essence of who you are, beyond the noise of the world. You come to see that the rush to fill your time with activities or people often serves as a distraction, keeping you from facing the truths that only solitude can reveal. Instead of running from it, you step into the silence and let it show you what lies beneath the surface. These quiet moments you might find clarity where there was confusion, acceptance where there was resistance, and courage where there was fear. Aloneness creates a space where growth is not forced but arises naturally, like a seed breaking through the soil when the conditions are just right. Finally, where you face certain death as meditation forces it, the only space where the growth is not forced, where the conditions are, it is in this stillness that you can see yourself not as a fragmented collection of tasks or roles, but as a whole, intricate being, deserving of your own attention and care. When you are alone, a remarkable thing happens. The masks you wear for the world begin to slip away. These masks, built from years of expectations, judgments, and the roles you feel compelled to play, are so often tied to how you believe others perceive you. They are crafted for the eyes of the external world, molded to fit the many identities you assume: the professional, the friend, the caretaker, the achiever. Yet in the quiet of solitude, with no one watching, these layers begin to dissolve. In solitude, there is no audience to please, no one to convince, no script to follow. You are freed from the need to perform, and in this freedom lies a profound truth. What remains is not the polished image you present to others, but the raw, unfiltered essence of who you are. At first, this can feel unsettling. The silence might amplify doubts or questions you buried beneath the busyness of life. But as you sit with yourself, you begin to see the beauty in letting these masks fall away. The face you show the world is often a compromise, a balance between what you think is expected and what you feel safe to reveal. But alone, you are not bound by these compromises. You can confront your fears, celebrate your joys, and sit with your vulnerabilities without the fear of judgment or misunderstanding. This is not an act of isolation, but one of liberation. When the masks are removed, you also begin to see the ways in which they have shaped your life. Perhaps you have worn them so long that you've forgotten they were ever there, mistaking them for your true self. But solitude reminds you of the difference. It creates a space where you can examine these masks, ask where they came from, and decide which, if any, still serve you. This unveiling allows for an honesty that is rarely possible in the presence of others. It's not that others are to blame. Rather, it's the nature of human interaction to carry a certain level of pretense or protection. But in aloneness, you are both the questioner and the answer, the observer and the observed. You become reacquainted with the parts of yourself that have been hidden, neglected, or misunderstood. You see yourself clearly, not as you think you should be, but as you are. Being alone is often misunderstood as being lonely, but the two states are fundamentally different. To be alone is a physical condition, a moment where you find yourself without the presence of others. Loneliness, on the other hand, is an emotional experience, a sense of disconnection or longing that can persist regardless of whether you are surrounded by people or by silence. Understanding this distinction is key to embracing the richness of solitude. When you are alone, you are gifted with the freedom to exist on your own terms, free from external demands or expectations. It is a state of empowerment, where the absence of others creates a space for introspection and self-discovery. Being alone doesn't mean you are deprived of connection. Rather, it can be a gateway to a deeper connection with yourself and, paradoxically, with the world around you. Loneliness, however, often arises not from the lack of others, but from a perceived absence of meaningful connection, either to oneself or to the broader fabric of life. It is a feeling of isolation that can persist even in a crowded room. By embracing the practice of being alone, you can begin to untangle this misconception, learning that your sense of fulfillment does not have to rely solely on external relationships. When you are alone, you have the opportunity to explore your own thoughts and feelings without interference. You can come to understand what truly fulfills you, what you value, and what you wish to create in your life. This exploration transforms solitude from something to fear into something to cherish, a sanctuary where you can recharge and realign with your inner self. Aloneness is not a void, it is a space of potential, filled with the quiet hum of your own presence. It offers the chance to cultivate inner peace, resilience, and self-awareness. It teaches you that contentment can exist independently of companionship, that your worth and wholeness are not contingent on being seen, heard, or validated by others. True peace is not something to be sought in the outer world. It is a state that arises from within. The world around us is often chaotic, full of demands, distractions, and uncertainties, leading many to believe that peace is something external, something to be achieved by changing circumstances or resolving conflicts outside ourselves. Yet, this pursuit of external calm is fleeting, as the external world is ever-changing, unpredictable, and beyond our control. The more you seek peace in people, possessions, or situations, the more elusive it seems, like trying to catch a reflection in moving water. When you turn inward, however, you discover that peace is not something you acquire, it is something you uncover. It is already present, resting quietly beneath the layers of noise, stress, and distraction. It is the stillness at the core of your being, the unshakable center that remains unaffected by the storms of life. To access this inner peace, you must learn to pause, to sit in stillness, and to listen to the quiet voice within you. This journey inward requires letting go of the idea that peace is tied to perfection or the absence of problems. Life will always have its share of challenges, uncertainties, and changes. But peace is not about eliminating these. It is about finding a steady ground within yourself from which you can face them. It is about cultivating an inner state of acceptance, a recognition that while you cannot control the waves, you can learn to navigate them with grace and resilience. When you realize that peace lies within, you stop searching for it in the approval of others, in material success, or in future achievements. You understand that no external condition can provide lasting fulfillment, because true peace does not depend on what happens outside you. Instead, it arises from a deep connection to the present moment, a willingness to let go of resistance, and an acceptance of life as it is. In discovering the peace within, you begin to see the world differently. The noise and chaos around you no longer hold the same power over your sense of calm. You recognize that peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of awareness and equanimity in the midst of it. There is immense value in simply being a witness to your own inner world, a role often overshadowed by the urge to act, fix, or control. In the rush of daily life, it is easy to become entangled in your thoughts, swept away by emotions, or consumed by the need to react. Yet when you step back and take on the role of the observer, you create a space between yourself and your experiences. In this space, clarity emerges, allowing you to see your thoughts and emotions for what they truly are. Passing phenomena, like clouds drifting across the sky. The witness is not to judge or suppress, but to observe with curiosity and acceptance. It means allowing your thoughts and feelings to arise without resistance, without labeling them as good or bad. This practice of witnessing helps you recognize that you are not your thoughts, nor are you defined by the emotions that come and go. You are the awareness that watches these experiences unfold, the steady presence that remains unshaken by the shifting tides of the mind. When you cultivate the ability to witness, you develop a deeper understanding of your patterns and tendencies. You begin to notice the stories your mind tells you, the assumptions you hold, and the fears that drive your actions. By observing without judgment, you create the possibility for transformation. You are no longer reacting automatically to life's challenges, but responding from a place of greater awareness and intentionality. Witnessing also allows you to experience life more fully. Instead of being consumed by the highs and lows, you learn to appreciate the entire spectrum of your existence. The moments of joy are savored without clinging, and the moments of pain are met with compassion rather than avoidance. In this way, witnessing becomes a source of freedom, liberating you from the cycles of attachment and aversion that so often dominate human experience. This practice extends beyond the self. By becoming a witness to your own inner landscape, you develop the capacity to witness others with greater empathy and understanding. You are no longer projecting your judgments or expectations onto them, but meeting them as they are. This shift fosters deeper connections, as it allows you to see the shared humanity in everyone you encounter. In solitude, the value of witnessing becomes even more apparent. Without the distractions of the external world, you have the opportunity to turn your attention inward, to observe the ebb and flow of your inner life without interference. It is here, in the quiet space of witnessing, that you come to know yourself not as a collection of thoughts and feelings, but as the one who observes them. This realization brings with it a profound sense of liberation, as you are no longer bound by the transient nature of your experiences, but rooted in the steady presence of your own awareness. The act of letting go is one of the most profound pathways to peace, yet it is often the most misunderstood. In our lives, we tend to hold tightly to ideas, relationships, possessions, and even emotions, believing that this grasping brings us security and fulfillment. We cling to the known, fearing that to release our grip is to lose control or to invite uncertainty. But in truth, it is this very clinging that creates tension, anxiety, and unrest. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about creating space. Space for freedom, for growth, and for peace to emerge. Space smells for space. When you let go, you are not discarding what matters. You are releasing the weight of what no longer serves you. This might mean letting go of expectations, the need for approval, or the illusion of control over outcomes. Often it is not the events of life that burden us, but the stories we attach to them, the shoulds and musts that tie us to frustration or disappointment. By letting go of these mental constructs, you open yourself to a lighter, more fluid way of being. Letting go also applies to your emotions. Anger, fear, guilt, and regret can linger long after their purpose has passed, becoming like heavy stones carried in a backpack. These emotions are natural and necessary, but when you hold on to them too tightly, they begin to define your experience. To let go is not to deny or suppress these feelings, but to allow them to flow through you without resistance. In doing so, you free yourself from their grip, finding that peace is not in the absence of emotion, but in your ability to move through it without becoming stuck. Okay. This practice extends to the way we relate to others. Letting go of the need to control people or outcomes in relationships allows for a deeper, more authentic connection. You no longer demand that others conform to your expectations or carry the responsibility for your happiness. Instead, you create space for them to be themselves, just as you create space for them to be themselves, just as you create space for yourself to be free of the need for external validation. Letting go is also an act of trust. Trusting in the flow of life, in your resilience, and in the understanding that peace comes not from holding tightly, but from allowing life to unfold as it will. This trust does not mean passivity. It means embracing the present moment as it is, without trying to reshape it to fit your desires. In this surrender, you discover a profound sense of ease, as you are no longer fighting against the current of life, but moving with it. The act of letting go extends to the past and the future as well. Many of us live chained to regrets about what has already happened or fears of what is yet to come. These chains prevent us from fully inhabiting the present moment, which is the only place where peace can truly be found. By releasing the hold of the past and the pull of the future, you liberate yourself to experience the fullness of now, unburdened and open to the possibilities it holds. Aloneness is often seen as an empty space, a void to be filled with distractions or the presence of others. But in truth, aloneness is one of life's greatest teachers. It offers a depth of wisdom that cannot be found in the company of others, a quiet guide that reveals the truths of your inner world and the nature of existence itself. In aloneness, you are given the rare opportunity to listen, not to the voices of the world, but to the voice within, the one that is often drowned out by the noise of daily life. When you are alone, there is no one to mirror your thoughts or validate your feelings. This absence, far from being a loss, becomes a gift. It encourages you to turn inward and explore the vast landscape of your mind and heart. You begin to notice patterns of thought, beliefs you have carried for years, and the emotions that rise and fall like waves. Aloneness teaches you to witness these with curiosity, to understand them without judgment, and to see them for what they are, passing phenomena that do not define you. Through this process, you learn self-reliance. You discover that the answers you seek are not found in the opinions of others or in external validation, but within your own awareness. Aloneness shows you that your strength and clarity are not dependent on anyone else's presence or approval. This self-reliance fosters a quiet confidence, a sense of inner stability that allows you to face the world with greater resilience and peace. Aloneness also teaches the value of presence. In solitude, there are no distractions pulling you away from the present moment. You are free to observe the subtle details of life, the sound of your breath, the way sunlight filters through a window, the rhythm of your own heartbeat. These moments of mindfulness remind you of the richness of simply being, a lesson that is often forgotten in the rush to do, achieve, and connect. The solitude seems natural and elegant. One of the profound lessons aloneness offers is the ability to confront fear. Many people avoid being alone because it forces them to face their own insecurities, doubts, or unresolved emotions. But it is precisely in this confrontation that growth occurs. Aloneness teaches you that fear, when faced with courage and openness, begins to lose its grip. It becomes a teacher itself, showing you the places within you that need healing and understanding. Aloneness is not only about self-discovery, it is also about connection. In the stillness of solitude, you may come to realize that you are never truly separate. The boundaries between yourself and the world begin to blur as you sense your place within the greater whole. Aloneness allows you to experience the unity of life, a connection that goes beyond words and relationships. It reminds you that you are part of something vast and interconnected, even when you are physically alone. Ultimately, aloneness teaches you to embrace yourself fully. It is a space where you can explore who you are without the influence of others, a time to nurture your own soul and understand your own truth. It challenges you to be comfortable in your own company, to find peace in the silence, and to see aloneness not as an emptiness, but as a fullness, a sacred space of learning and growth. And so, embrace aloneness, not as a state to escape, but as a sacred opportunity, a teacher that invites you to uncover the depths of your being, to release the masks you wear, and to find peace within. For in the quiet and stillness of solitude, you come to realize that you are whole, complete, and connected to something far greater than yourself. Let aloneness guide you toward a life of clarity, freedom, and profound inner harmony.